I was going to say, Johnny, I didn't know you smoked.
All right, we are back. That's it. It's game 82. That's it. The season's done. Thank you once again for sticking through our second regular season as Leafs Late Night. So thank you to you guys, Steph and Biehn, and to Sally and Darty, who are not here, for joining me on another adventurous season.
Yeah. Oh my God. I feel like this year flew by for me anyways. I mean, we're saying thanks, but at the same time, this playoff push, playoffs is here. Finally, it's like we blinked and Christmas trade deadline passed us. And I don't know, the last month or so just flew by for me.
Well, I mean, we've known that we're playing Tampa for so long that it's just like, can we get there already? And it's insane that it's the only matchup that was set before tonight.
Yeah, we've pretty much known this matchup. It's funny, Steph says Christmas and then trade deadline, basically right in the middle between those two, somewhere end of January, middle of February in there. It was pretty much set in stone.
So the actual stat for that, because they showed it on Bar Down before the game, 135 days we've known about Tampa meeting us in the first round, and only 134 days where we've had home ice advantage. There's only been one day since the end of November that we didn't have home ice advantage, and that was one game in February.
Oh, man. And everybody argues this format, but it seems to just be the Atlantic right now that this affects. Like, everybody else was up in the air till tonight. So, I mean, it kind of kills the argument for this reseeding everything argument. Or, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The biggest thing about it is when you have a really strong division, and I feel like lately you've been seeing that, like in the last decade or so, when one team gets really strong, the other teams in that division load up to try to counteract it and create like a super division, right? So once you have that super division, then it screws up the playoff chances for that division.
It also really screws up the playoff chances for, well, I mean, like you said, for the division, but like the teams at the bottom, like Detroit and Montreal and Buffalo, and the ones that are like, what do they do? It's almost a waiting game for the teams to fall off the top. Like, it's going to be really hard to crack into that.
Yeah, and honestly, I had high hopes for Buffalo this year, and now they've been eliminated. It's been over 10 years since they've been in the playoffs, and when you have such a juggernaut of an Atlantic division, how are you supposed to climb up the charts? I mean, you have the up-and-comings of the Ottawa Senators, who are looking pretty promising once they get their shit together, or some goaltending and defenders in the mix, right? Their top 6, at least top 9, is looking really good on paper. But I mean, next year, oh man, just makes me wonder about Boston, right? Is the curse going to affect them, or I don't know.
So also over in the Metro Division, we've got Ovi and Crosby missing the playoffs for the first time in, I think it was, 6 or 8 years for Ovi, and then 16 for Crosby? Like, that's nuts.
The last time Crosby missed the playoffs, Lemieux was still in the league.
Yeah, what was it? Bedard was 9 months old. There were no iPhones. Malkin wasn't in the league.
First year of the salary cap, and the Toronto Maple Leafs did not have a no-series win drought.
Oh, great. So we were actually talking about the President's Trophy curse today, and I pulled up the numbers from, I forget which article this was, and I'm sorry. So the Bruins have the widest point margin since 2008 going back. Nobody has had this wide of a margin to first place. The Lightning were the closest in 19 with a 21-point margin, and we all know what happened that time. The last President's Trophy winner to win the Cup was the 13 Blackhawks, and before that, the 08 Red Wings. Every other team has either lost in the first or second, or once in the Cup final and once in the third round. So in the Cap era, it's kind of been a curse.
Yeah.
You can't argue it.
And just to quickly touch on the playoff reseeding, there would only be 2 series that would be different right now if it was 1-8.
Okay.
It would be Devils, Tampa, and Leafs, Rangers.
Oh.
Which, honestly, I'd rather take Tampa.
The way I'm looking at it, we slay 2 demons. We get past the first round demon and Tampa from last year, and then chances are we face the Bruins and we slay that demon.
It's got to be that way.
It's just going to be a storybook run.
It has to be. History in the making here. I mean, the Leafs have to do everything the absolute hardest way possible, unfortunately, and this is the road that we must begin. We're going to journey through, and I mean, the odds are in our favor. They've been in before, Columbus, Montreal, but me personally, I have that devil inside me on my shoulder, like, doubting these things. But then the other half of me is like super excited. This is the best roster we've had in ever. So,
Roscoe, you said storybook?
Yep.
First round, first Tampa. First round, Demons, Tampa Demons, like I just said. Second round, versus Boston. Slay that demon because we've lost 3 straight series to them. Conference final, Islanders. JT shuts up the Islanders fans.
Oh my God.
Take the Leafs to the Cup final.
Against the Edmonton Oilers and Connor McDavid.
Let's do it. Let's
Jack
will it
Campbell.
into existence. Let's do it.
And Jack Campbell. I'm so down.
Yep.
That would
Zach
be the
Hyman,
craziest
Cody
run.
Ceci.
Oh my God.
the Toronto Maple Oilers.
Let's
Too
do
bad
it.
Barry's not still there. That'd be fun.
That would be epic. Those are juggernaut teams for a reason. If the Leafs have to slay it that way, I mean, I want all 3 heads of that dragon gone.
It's crazy that it's possible. Like that's oh my God. All right. With that, that's a good way to start it. Let's get into the show.
Yes. DJ, press play. Well, I can't hear anything.
I like how Roscoe's just dancing to nothing there.
I'm just feeling it. I love this new intro.
We can't hear it.
Wait. Oh, I forgot to hit live, you guys. That's totally
I'm
my
like,
bad.
damn, that was a good jam there, eh, Roscoe?
Well, I will put it in post so that
You
everybody
better.
can hear it. Because I totally forgot to hit live before I hit that. I was still on preview.
My bad. Well, now that you're hyped up, good game, eh? How's Newfoundland, by the way? Did you get screeched in yet, or what?
How you doing, bud?
Not yet. So I landed yesterday about 2:00. I had a stopover in Halifax. I flew Porter, which no hate, but I would call it the Canadian spirit.
Okay.
It was okay. Let me just preface this with the planes that you have to take to get out here are like ones that can fly to the tundra because the weather is fucked. So it's what's called a Dash 8. I had looked it up while I was on it because I was like, why are there propellers on the side of this plane? I've never been on something like this. So it's very loud. I have like a headset, like a headband Bluetooth thing that I use for, like it's comfortable. It's good for like napping and stuff, falling asleep, listening to something.
Yeah.
I actually at max volume could not hear it because I was right beside the propeller. This thing is so loud. There's no outlets on it. Like it's like hopping on a Greyhound in the air.
You're not even in the worst spot.
No, and but honestly, since I've gotten here, the weather in Ottawa was so nice. Fuck. And I landed here, and it's been foggy, but it's been so fun. I got the tour around downtown. It's gorgeous, the harbor and everything, and flying over Bell Island coming in was awesome.
Nice.
Went out for dinner last night. It was fantastic. Michelin star restaurant.
Nice.
I think it's called the Merchant. I'll have to double check that. But it's like a guy who won Top Chef Canada, who's the head chef there. It was
Cool.
unreal. And then today, we're at the office, which is really cool. Just kind of being in a new space, doing something that's familiar and somewhere unfamiliar. But otherwise it's been cool. The place I'm staying in is actually kind of interesting. It's I'm staying with my boss, and it's a house that is built out of, So the house belonged to the guy who used to be the harbor master here, like many, many moons ago, like back in the day. And he built ships. And when he retired, he took a bunch of his ships apart and built this house out of them. Mm-hmm. So this is a very interesting house. It's really cool.
Nice.
Like the wall is slanted in strange ways. I keep hitting my head.
Oh, that's good. You have to let us know when you get screeched in or text us while you do it.
Yeah. Also going to Growlers game on Saturday. Got my tickets. Excited to see Gogolev, and I don't know who's going to be playing in net, but
probably McKay.
Either way, probably McKay. Yeah. So that'll be cool.
So how much for 4 tickets? $50?
With the, for some reason, I think it's because they're playing Reading, but the tickets were in US dollars.
Oh, okay.
I didn't notice. So there's a deal for buying 4. I think you get 4 of them for $50. So it was that, but it was like 72 Canadian or something because the exchange rate sucks right now.
Damn. Couple beers at the Scotiabank Arena.
Yeah, but it's the Mary Brown Center in the middle of downtown. So
even better. Newfies love their Mary Browns.
There's so many of them here, but they were surprised to hear that they had them like in Ottawa and stuff. So
cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So glad you're with us all the way in the Rock, an hour and a half ahead of time.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. It's 12:45 here. Like the game started at 8:30. That's going to be tough to get used to.
Yeah. But hopefully this playoff schedule comes out soon, guys. We're hearing Tuesday for game 1 so far. Just waiting on broadcasters and television and so.
Tuesday makes sense, right? Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You have a hockey night in Canada the first week and first round.
Yeah, and now that the Raptors are out of the playoffs, unfortunately, or the play-in.
The play-in. You better add it in post.
Sorry, is that distracting?
9-year-old on the payroll.
Screams. Damn. If you want to talk about that for a sec, obviously.
I found the perfect one for it too. This isn't even her. It's just like a random soundbite. It's the perfect pitch.
Man.
For anybody who missed this, the Raptors were playing the Bulls, and DeMar DeRozan, ex-Raptor, plays for the Bulls. And his daughter was in the crowd, who's 9 years old, they said?
Yeah.
Yeah. 36 free throws the Raptors took, which is outrageous for one thing. Like, that is an insane amount of free throws to take. And they missed 50%, which is like Shaq numbers. Like, there's no they should be shooting like 80% on the free throw line at worst. Like, come on. And they lost by 4 points. Like, You know what? To be completely fair, I didn't watch the game. I'm just basing it on this alone. So I've seen a lot of people say, like, let's not blame the 9-year-old because we played like shit. Because really, the Raptors should not have been in this play-in position in the first place. So it's just kind of a weird thing that you don't see happen. Because, like, look, when fans are being rowdy, they get tossed. Like, I don't think anybody's random kid would have been able to get away with this for the whole game.
So someone, like the local radio station, they were talking about that here in Woodstock. And
sorry,
they were, I don't even hear it. They were saying that it would, like any other situation, baseball game, hockey game, anything, if that was a drunk guy yelling or screaming, constantly making that noise, he would have been tossed. Like, just gone.
Yeah. Didn't the Brooksy guy get tossed?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And they made a whole rule that, like, you couldn't do that. Like,
yeah. My biggest thing, like, if you're a fan sitting courtside, man, you're right there. You're right up on there on the courts. It's not like hockey where you can be banging against the glass and the players can still barely hear you. And I guess, watching the video, I just thought, fuck, who is... Biehn can't hear it, but there's a screaming sound effect Johnny keeps playing. I I don't know, man. Like, I thought a toddler was getting pinched and this was on purpose. And then you watch the video, it's a 9-year-old, and the adult beside her, which looks like her mother, is applauding it. She's reinforcing this act and she's waving her arms in the air like every time they miss. Like, this is a calculated act, whether, you know, it's out of for fun or not. You literally have the biggest Raps fans beside you, Batia, I forget his name, you know, the guy, the Indian guy.
Super fan, yeah.
Yeah. And like, how does anyone not say anything?
It's one thing if it's like a regular season game, but this is like a make or break play-in. This is kind of important, you know?
And it's not like she's 3 years old, 2 years old, screaming because she's a fucking toddler. This kid is almost in double-digit land, and she fucking knows what she's doing. But the fact is,
well, that's the thing. She knows what she's doing. A toddler's not going to scream every single time someone goes to make a free throw. They're just going to do it randomly because they don't know what they're doing. This is somebody who's very clearly aware of what they're doing, but it's just immature and nobody's stopping them.
That's my problem. Nobody is stopping them. They're applauding this and wanting this to happen. It's like, do you have respect for the game?
No.
Like, sitting courtside, and you don't see people like, fuck you, getting into players' faces and such. Like, that would not be happening. So have some respect. It doesn't matter if you hate the other team, or your daddy used to play for the other team and you want him to win on his new team. Like, it's just a no-no. It's just a unwritten rule, it seems, because this rule isn't written down anywhere.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that this is how the Raptors season goes out. And I don't know if anybody's been following, but Nick Nurse kind of openly talked about not sticking around for next year. Like, it seemed to get to the point where, you know, if he's saying it in public, in like media availabilities, like, that's a little over the line, I think. I mean, like, that's something that should be done in negotiations. So, like, it's clearly not going well if he's willing to say, you know, he's had offers from teams, and it's not looking good. Some guys are going to free agency, and it's going to be rebuild time for the Raptors.
Yeah, I'm just like you on this incident, where I didn't watch the game, so I can't really judge if the Raps played like shit or not. But either way, this specific incident, it's just a no-no to me. And if, you know, this continues, it's sending a sign to the fans of the league that this is okay for next time. Like, yeah. What if a group of fans just got together and started doing that shit? Like, that would not be okay. And just because this girl and family members from a player's family, it's no free passes. No free passes.
That's the thing, is if it happens again, then it'll be addressed, right? Like, one time is, okay, that's kind of annoying, but like, how do we do something about one time other than, you know, say, don't do that again? But if it happens again from somebody else and it becomes a thing, then they're going to have to do something about it. So it sucks to the Raptors that they get the first one that's impossible to do anything about.
Well, it's just funny because someone brought it up this morning. In the bubble, there was an NBA player who made the arena staff kick out one of the mascots because he was standing in his line of view for free throws, and it was distracting him.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen players straight up like point to people and be like, them out, like kick them out, and the security are like, okay. Like, they don't really need a reason. If a player points to somebody and says, like, that person specifically, it's like, oh, they must have a reason, because they're not going to put themselves on the face of, oh yeah, I start tossing people out just because I want to.
Mm-hmm.
There's some characters I could see getting behind that.
Oh, Kyrie, Gobert, yeah, there's a couple. But yeah, just to wrap up the Raps, it just kind of sucks. They shouldn't have been in this position, but they are kind of floating around, management not letting them not bringing in what the coaching staff needs to actually make a push. Like, the deadline seems to be like what the Leafs did the last couple of years, where it's like they're not super confident in the team, so they're not going to go all in. They'll bring in something, and it's like, here's Jakob Poeltl, see if he can help you guys, but we're not going to go all in on somebody. So they kind of were given pennies and didn't do much with it. So now the rug is pulled from under them, and it's probably going to be a lot of people gone.
Did Scarty Barnes have a sophomore slump?
No, I mean, like, he's going to be good. It's just, it's hard for, like, basketball is really something that you can't one man. Like, you need a decent team around you. I mean, like, come on, Biehn. Like,
of all the major sports, basketball is the one that you can most one man.
You can, like, put up points, but the team not winning. Like, Scotty Barnes can be doing well, but the team can still lose games. Like, you can score 30 points, but your team can lose. That's my point. Like, yes, you can one man a game in basketball, like LeBron and Curry and Giannis. Like, there's guys that can do it.
Yeah, more so than any of the other major sports.
Yeah.
You literally, like, unless you're Ohtani, you can't in baseball.
Well, and that's another case, too, where it doesn't matter what he does, they still lose.
Yeah. He literally does everything. He allows, like, 2 hits and gets a home run, and they still lose.
Yeah. Well, McDavid's probably the closest to that in hockey.
Except he doesn't know defense.
Yeah. And I guess because of basketball, you're on for so long before getting subbed out. That's a fair point. I guess that'll be my walk it back. You can one man basketball, fine. But my point remains that it didn't matter what Scotty Barnes did this season from the few games I watched. It's just, they didn't have much of a team beyond a couple guys like Freddie and Siakam, but that's kind of it. OG.
Oh, well, maybe next year my bet will suffice of winning the division. Womp, womp, womp.
Womp, womp. So, last bit of news, the Chicago Blackhawks announced that Jonathan Toews is not coming back. That's it. End of an era.
He done.
So, why they couldn't get something done at the trade deadline, I kind of don't understand now that he's walking away. But I guess he didn't know at the time. He was dealing with stuff. He wasn't really worth a ton to most teams. It was better to have him just finish the season and see where he ends up, I guess. For
the amount of cap gymnastics that would have had to have happened to get him on any team at the deadline, when you didn't know how many games he was going to be able to play, would just definitely not have been worth it.
So do you think somebody signs him in the offseason?
I think he goes home and he tries to train. Like, this thing that he's been dealing with over the last little while, this immune issue, has really hampered him. I don't know if it's long COVID or what it is, but it's something like he's never had to deal with in his career before. And I think if he feels like he can play, he definitely signs somewhere. But that's what it's going to come down to.
What do you think the price is for a rehabilitated, back to, 75, 80% Jonathan Toews? At, what is he, 34, 32?
Yeah, I think he's 34. Because what's Crosby? 37?
5.
Toews is 34.
Yeah. Realistically, right now, if he's going to come back, he's going to want to go to a team that has a legit chance. They're not going to have a lot of cap space, so you're probably looking at like a Spezza or Gio thing, like million, maybe 2.
Fourth line.
Honestly,
center.
Yeah, I think he's still in the range where he could garner like maybe 1.8, but like I don't think he's taking league min to play next year.
No, unless he's from the Winnipeg area. If he thinks the Jets have a chance and he wants to play for Winnipeg, sure. But
that's fair.
If I was the GM of the Blackhawks, especially with all the bullshit that's gone on with that organization, I would have been going to Toews and saying, look, as long as you want to play, you have a spot. $2 million a year, 1-year deal, done. You want to play, you're a Blackhawk for life. But that's me.
Yeah, I think, honestly, now that you mentioned that he's from Winnipeg, I'd say the chances of him going home or staying in Chicago are probably the most likely things, right? Because, I mean, he's been in Chicago so long that is kind of his home now. But if he wants to go back to Winnipeg, where maybe the rest of his family is, unless they've moved out to Chicago, I don't know. But I'd say that's probably most likely. I don't see him really going anywhere else to go for a run for a cup. It's not like he hasn't got any.
Yeah, I don't see him coming back, honestly. I think his reputation is a little tainted right now, especially with the Kyle Beach thing. he's supposed to be remembered as this ultimate all-star Olympian, etc., but on my mind, he is seen as a failed captain to me. Like, I'm just like, fuck. Like, this whole thing with the Chicago Blackhawks, I'm like, fuck off. Good riddance, man. Retire already. Like, respect to you back in the day, but honestly, you weren't there for your teammates. You let this kid down along with so many others. This, after your cup runs, this team just fucking shit hit the fan. I don't know.
Yeah, the whole organization has obviously been a mess for the last, decade and a half, clearly. So hopefully all of this signals a better era for what should be a really solid franchise and fan base in the NHL. Like, they've been around forever and, always owned by the same family. Like, it should be better than this. So
definitely.
Yeah.
But they do not deserve Bedard.
No.
Just saying.
No way.
Though Toews stuck around, Mr. Patrick Kane didn't, and he ended up on the Rangers. And I continue to be king of the segue as we lead into the first period of the game.
Yeah. Oh my God. Last game of the year, guys.
Biehn, how did it feel to be the backup goalie tonight?
It was good. Great to get the call from the coach. I'm just glad I could be there for the team, right?
I mean, in all honesty, I stopped looking up who these people are. Who the hell was this?
I didn't even pay attention to it this time because there's been so many so many different names being thrown about over the last couple games. It's not even
It's like 4 different backups.
Yep.
Samuel Richard.
So who is this?
He won a tournament with you something. Honestly, I didn't even catch it and didn't have enough time to write it down from the broadcast because it was so random. Yeah, Samuel Richard.
Hang on, I'm pulling up his elite prospects profile
He
here.
looked pretty cool on the bench.
A.K.A. Samuel Richard D. Okay.
Yeah, so this year he was playing for the University of New Brunswick. He had a .933 save percentage with them.
Oh, nice.
And a couple years before that, he was with the Rouyn-Noranda Huskies in the QMJHL.
He's 22 from Quebec, so he's
Richard.
He's got good stats though. I mean,
yeah, they're not bad.
The big time.
Nope.
Now
it might end up.
Okay, can we touch on the ATO goalies for a second here? Because everybody's bitching and screaming about the Leafs doing this.
Yeah.
With them putting Jet Alexander in, like, a lot of people say, oh, it's a travesty. Like, this guy would never get a sniff for the NHL. Really? Of all of these people, Scott Foster when the Blackhawks did it, David Ayers, like the equipment trainer for Carolina a couple years ago, Jet Alexander is probably going to be in the ECHL if not next year, the year after, which is a feeder league for the AHL, which is a feeder league for the NHL. He has a legitimate shot to work his way up.
How many times do we see goalies sign, out of college or over age at like 24, 26 because goalies develop at a completely different rate than skaters do? So it's completely reasonable that these guys are going to probably make at least the O or AHL at some point, or ECHL, like you said.
Yeah.
Also, one of these ATO goalies was a part of the Leafs prospect camp, I think, back in 2017 or 2018. I can't remember which one. It was either Jet or Osnaka, the one from the other game there. But hey, it comes full circle, right? And even if it's just making their day in their career, you never know, man. Like, we've had goalies come into the league that were undrafted and end up being amazing. Like, even Binnington, right? Like, that was a huge shock, and then winning the cup with St. Louis. Like, you just never know.
Like, Jet Alexander has...
And now we're up to...
Sorry,
I was going to say we're up to 49 people.
Yeah. Alexander has a .927 save percentage this year.
Nice.
For University of Toronto. .927.
That's insane.
Right?
Better than Chenard.
What's his GAA?
221. So it's not... Like, it's not...
That's good.
Yeah, but it's not sub 1. You'd see a .927. You're going to assume it's sub 1, right?
Yeah, but it's university. The games are probably higher scoring.
Yeah.
Chenard had like an 833.
Like, more what I was asking by the GAA is like, how high scoring are these games? Like with a 927, like what does that mean there?
Like
True.
even in his 6 playoff appearances, he had a 918 and 272 goals against average.
Okay, so they're really high scoring games.
Yeah.
So
Because I feel like in university, it's like maybe a 15% of the guys are going to go beyond that, and the rest are just kind of there. So or on scholarships and using it to have a free ride through school. Like there's different reasons to play sports in university, and the guys that are just like trying to get to the NHL would probably just skate circles around some of them.
Especially universities in Canada. As bad as it sounds,
Yeah.
the sports teams are not near what they are in the NCAA.
Oh no, not at all.
they're just not as competitive. The leagues aren't there the same way as they are in the U.S. with sports in college/university anyways. Like the hype in the U.S., oh my God, it's a whole league of its own, right? We don't get that here.
No, I kind of wish we did, but like, I don't know. We'll see. The Growlers game might pique my interest in watching, like, you know, ECHL and OHL and Q stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
But speaking of goaltending and Samsonov ending his regular season with the Leafs, he now officially has posted the highest single season save percentage with a 919 of any goalie to start at least 50% of games in the Matthews era.
I totally forgot to make a button for it, but I was going to make a soundbite button that's you saying Jack Campbell is elite on like a bunch of different episodes.
You
I'll have it
should
for next time. Yeah.
do a video of every time I said it, like over and over and over.
Oh my God.
That's my biggest run it back. Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm happy for Sammy. It's not what I expected. It's what you called. I'll eat that one. I didn't think he was going to be the starter, but lo and behold, Matt Murray has. I'm not going to call him Mrazek because he's played more games than that. But man, just injury after injury, and it's the last thing we wanted.
Yeah, I'm 1 for 2 on my predictions. Sammy got the 1A, but I predicted 3 Leafs would get at least 100 points this year, and obviously Marner was robbed with the Montreal game there, not getting the assist on Papi's goal, and then tonight, oh my God, so many chances with that empty netter, hoping for Matthews to score his 300th career and maybe Marner feeding him at the same time so we can check off all of the boxes tonight, because we saw Achari hit 100 points, Nylander get his 40th. Then Leafs, keeping up the streak of 100
Worth noting the asterisk. Achari got his 100th of his career, not of the season.
Yes, true.
There is a very big difference there. I kind of noted that. I'm like, wait, so he's at 99 points on his career at 31, and Marner's at 99 on the season? That's crazy to think about. Like, just the different levels of, and different assignments players have.
Well, and I like how you bring that up. And I say it all the time. Like, what we are witnessing, people get pissy all season with some of the things
That's another soundbite I got to make.
Go on. Like, Matthews is 5th all time for Leafs goals right now. 5th. Marner's 7th for assists. Marner and Matthews are 10th and 11th, respectively, all time for points as Maple Leafs. 10th and 11th. Like, that's mind-blowing.
And imagine if JT was here the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's already knocking on the door of the top 25 for all 3 categories.
That's insane.
Yeah. Daddy JT about to have another baby on the way. Left for personal reasons today during practice. Same with Sam Lafferty. His wife is also expected to have a baby soon. But this is a little bit of speculation because there's been no word. Their wives just look like they're about to pop any moment.
Oh, little baby Stanley.
Yeah. So maybe this father energy will come ablazing and, we'll get them back for playoffs. And yeah.
Stanley or Isabel, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That would be epic. But lineup tonight, man, we got Nyes in for the 3rd straight game. I think this kid is getting better and better with every game, of course, and trusting him in this top 6.
PP1.
PP1 over Nylander, and hey, good for Keefe for doing that, because I thought Nylander was driving that PP2, and he was hungry tonight for his 40th. It was so obvious.
Oh yeah, he also had no intention of playing defense tonight. You could tell he's like, I'm scoring. I don't give a fuck what happens on our end.
Yeah. Is anybody else seen from Nyes what you were kind of hoping to see from Nicky Bobby this year?
Yes, exactly. A power forward that's just jumps in and clicks immediately, and you're like, oh, you are ready for this.
Like,
that is what I wanted to see from Bobby at the beginning of the year. He just comes in, he's big, steals the puck from people, drives to the net. And look, I saw Nyes take the puck from Adam Fox tonight, who is one of the, I would say, top 3 defensemen in the league. Like, that's top 5.
He stripped Patty Kane too. I know Patty Kane's on the tail end of his career, but it's still Patrick Kane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Who is really good at doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll eat my words for saying that I thought Nyes would not play this season. I honestly was super shocked when he got the call, especially with the whole goalie situation and Leafs trying to pull a quick one there. But hey, I'm glad he's here, and it's working out with guys taking a rest, taking a break. And you're absolutely right. Nick Robertson, man, this speedy little guy who's hard in the corners, has a great shot, except this guy's healthy, a foot taller, and 50 pounds heavier. So, and he doesn't look like it, right? He's super fast. They were saying his edges are quick, and he's looking great. Like, he hasn't missed a beat, really.
But he doesn't have a brother who scored like 50 goals, though. And that's what everybody in the NHL worries about. But no, honestly, since I think I don't blame you for doubting it, because, I mean, honestly, since on forward, I'm going to say Kapanen and who was the other one at that time that came up from the Marlies? Like, we haven't had anyone jump in and like be a mainstay right away in a long time. Like, we've had guys up and down this season that have been impressive, but nobody that's like, oh yeah, you're here and you're sticking out.
We thought Pontus Holmberg for a long time, since he's played 32 games.
37 games, guys.
What?
With an 18.5% shooting.
Right? Like, I thought he was going to be a important fixture on this lineup before trade deadline, and we had the likes of Achari and Lafferty. But that just goes to show what a season this has been, right? Like, the roster changes, and damn, Timmins playing right wing for the second game in a row. And, you know, when asked after the last game, his first reaction just said, panic. Even as a kid, he's never played forward, guys. Like, never, ever, ever in his life.
Why
Maybe
wouldn't
on
they
the
put
street.
like, isn't Gustafsson available?
No, he's injured right now.
Still? I thought he was fine.
So I don't really think he was ever injured in the first place. There was stuff leaking that I think there was some health issues going on with his daughter. So that's why he's kind of been stepping in and out. So I think
it did say he traveled, I remember. So that tracks.
Oh, okay. But man, these are game 81 and 82 quotes when you're literally saying like, oh, I thought I panicked when I got the call up to play forward on the Leafs roster, right? Like, things we would never expect. And did you guys see only 5 Leafs have played all 82 games this season?
Ooh. Okay.
You didn't see, Johnny?
Ones?
4.
4?
Yes, 4, you're right. Sorry.
I was legitimately just going to ask this question.
Yeah, let us test you this time.
Ooh, baby.
4 Leafs have played
God.
all 82 games.
Nylander.
Yep.
David Kampf?
Yes. My boy Kampf.
I think all of the defensemen missed time, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Both these guys need contracts.
Pretty much all
Bunting
four. Yes.
and
Come on.
oh my god,
Who's been there through and through? He can do anything.
Oh, Kerfoot.
Yeah.
He can do anything, but never does anything.
Oh.
Man, I got to say, David Kampf, as defensively effective as he is, that dude has not scored in forever. Like, what's going on there?
7 goals and 27 points this season.
I mean, great, but like he was the power kill guy last year. Like Campfire was lighting shit up. I put him in a graphic for a reason. I added a campfire to that graphic.
You did.
That is still my most successful tweet ever.
Oh, he's so good though, guys. Like, man, the fact that he can feed anyone, like he can dig out pucks from the boards and just like out of nowhere, here you go. And same with Achari. And today's Achari's daughter's birthday, I believe. So that one was
Oh,
for
happy
her.
birthday.
But Biehn can't hear the scream, so
No, I can't actually hear it. I was just...
He was making a joke before.
Sorry, I'm
No,
yeah.
it's all good.
No, but I've heard talked about is that the Leafs are trying to build like what they were going for under Burke and Babcock was like having 3 offensive lines, you know, and then you just load it all up. And I think they tried to move away from that under Dubas, and he's been slowly putting together this checking bottom 6. And like you mentioned, Pontus Holmberg coming up, I think he worked as like an offensive guy, but the problem that the Leafs keep having is unless you can fit on the left wing on the first or second line, hit somebody or go back to the Marlies.
Well, okay. You're confusing a couple generations there. Because Burke was very much top 6, bottom 6. Your bottom 6 guys punched you in the face. Your top 6 guys scored. That was Burke.
No, you're right. You're right.
Babcock, yes, he was a little bit different, but I think anymore it's not so much a defined top and bottom 6. It's your top 6 can be the outworldly skilled guys that'll score and do things that'll amaze you on the ice. But your bottom 6 guys, they have to be defensively responsible with kind of the hybrid. They're still going to be a threat to score. Maybe not your highlight reel goals, but they still need to be a threat.
Yeah, and they haven't really been... I mean, some of the guys have been able to, but it seems like we've started to promote them up. Like Yarncroke was kind of that guy, and then he made his way up. So,
I think...
I don't know. Who's the bottom 6 scorer? Who's the threat down there?
It depends how they have to do the lineups, but you got O'Reilly. Kerfoot can...
Well, fair.
Kerfoot can bury. Right? Aston Reese plays that gritty, like that in your face.
He'll tip something in.
Yeah, that playoff style hockey. Like, I'm not saying they have to be 20, 30 goal scorers, but they can't be Kyle Clifford out there like, oh, he's not scoring. I can tell you, he's not scoring.
They just have to give the Leafs a chance to win and give support to the core, because even tonight, you know, no goals in the first 2 periods for the Leafs, and you go into the 3rd period and the broadcasters are saying all of these stats like Leafs are going to break their longest streak without getting shut out for 144 games and la-di-da-di. You're like, oh my God, anyone needs to break the ice here. And good thing for Liljegren, and our most scoring defender this year with his 6th goal of the year, by the way. Can you believe it or not? To break the ice. But
doesn't Gustafsson have 7?
Not for us, though.
I don't think he has any for the Leafs. Maybe 1, but he had the hat trick against us.
Right? Man, I couldn't believe that our highest scoring defender is Timothy Liljegren with his 6th tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it probably would have been Sandin if he stayed here, because I think he was on pace to
Sandin had 4.
beat that, or he had... Yeah, so he would have been, from the deadline on, probably beat that. But yeah, it is kind of crazy. I mean, Riley missed some time and has been not really on his game this probably half of the season. So... yeah, I mean, otherwise, all the defensemen are just there to shut people down. So it's great that one of them can score, because we haven't had that in a long time.
Yeah, and just the tip once again. I mean, off Mikola's stick,
That was lucky.
Yeah, Halak was looking real good tonight. So, holy shit, it was a Shesterkin type performance.
Bruce Boudreau was having nightmares from that Halak performance tonight.
Right?
The amount of teams that guy's played for, man.
Yeah,
Remember
3 in the last 2 years.
When he willed the Canadians to the series win over like the President's Trophy winning Capitals when Boudreau was coaching.
Oh my God, right. I forgot that was Halak.
Yeah. Because that was when Halak and Price both came up as rookies, and then everybody's like, oh, if Halak's playing like this, maybe they'll trade Price.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
mainstream media is just stupid. Sorry. Go ahead, Steph.
No, it's okay.
What, you mean we shouldn't trade Nylander for Nick Ritchie and who was the other one?
Brandon Montour.
Kipper said?
Montour.
Yeah, Montour. Good times.
Good times. But this year, I mean, now we can talk about the year in the past, right? The regular season's over.
We do have to talk about all these goals that were called back.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
Okay.
Keefe is perfect on the offside challenges. 9-0, is it? 7-0,
8,
9
I
and
think. He was 6 for 6 coming into the night. They mentioned on the MSG broadcast, and so he got 2 successful ones. The first one they decided not to challenge, right?
Yeah. But then the goaltender interference, he won as well at the end there, and yeah, no, it's good to see. And I don't know what I was going to say.
Well,
Lost my train of thought.
It's kind of a weird ending for the Rangers at home to just lose on like 10 seconds, or no, it was 1.2 seconds left in the game, having a goal called back on a kick.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay. So I guess that makes Keefe, what's that? 7, because that doesn't count for him. They didn't challenge that one, did they?
Yes.
It just went to review?
No, they challenged.
I thought he challenged that one.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Then he's 8 for 8.
And of course, it's a Leaf killer, fucking Cheadle, who always has our number. So 1.2 seconds left in the period. I'm like, oh fuck. And Biehner's like, oh yes, more opportunity for Marner. Let's go to OT.
Oh man. Got to give it to Joseph Woll tonight, though. He was fantastic on some breakaways and some chances from like Panarin and Kreider and Zibanejad, like against guys that would score on, lesser goalies. So he's really showing himself to be ready for the NHL.
So let's talk about Woll for a little minute here. 4 games for us last year. He went 3-1 with a .911 save percentage. 6 games for us this year. He went 5-1 with a .933 save percentage.
Ew.
He has just continued to just prove everybody that, you know what? People have been talking about him for a long time as being a good prospect. Shout out to Marty. Him and I talked on his podcast before the season started about goalies, and we brought Woll up. This kid's going to be good. There's a possibility that we go into next season without Sammy, and Woll's our number 1 and Murray's our backup.
I heard rumor that they may look to ship Murray, depending on this playoff performance. And this is also the reason why Dubas did not shop for a goaltender at trade deadline, because we'd have Joseph Woll ready and willing to play, our AHL superstar here. And yeah, it was honestly the injury from the past, right? That's why we didn't see him as often as we wanted to. Unfortunately, this guy has been battling, and thank you, Shalgren. Thank you, baby goalie. But damn, Joseph Woll, brick wall. What a comeback, especially after his debut versus Columbus or whatever it was. And kind of the team did not play well in front of him whatsoever. But ever since then, I'm so confident in this guy. I even picked him up in fantasy tonight.
I got a hot take prediction. Hot take coming in. Matt Murray's going to the island.
Yeah.
I don't think you can offload that contract. I don't think anybody's going to take him, especially after he got hurt again, which is what everybody was looking at the Leafs for. They're like, you're going to pick him up from Ottawa after what happened last year? Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Ottawa was like, thanks for taking him. And the league went, okay. We looked great for a couple months. Everybody was skeptical, and then he got hurt all season. So obviously it's still there, but every time this guy plays more than a couple weeks, he's going to get hurt again, and it's months down. So I think that's going to be a hard contract to offload. I think he might just be chilling on IR for the remainder of his contract.
Now, did I hear you wrong? Did you say island as in like Robida Island, or island as
yes.
in... Oh, okay. I thought you meant Islanders, because that's the type of contract that Lou Lamoriello gives out to everybody.
That is also fair, but they don't need a goalie.
They'll need a backup for Sorokin next year.
Yeah, you can find a cheaper one than Matt Murray, unless it's like double retained, I guess. But like, I don't see the Leafs wanting to retain salary. Like, they're never in a position where having dead cap is a good thing. Like, even with the salary cap going up, if they just lose that because they had to retain $2 million on Matt, or over $2 million on Matt Murray's contract, like, I think he's just going to be chilling hurt. I don't think he gets cleared to play for the season, and it's on season opening IR or whatever it is.
This is what I didn't want to happen, and here we are. But I'm so glad for Joseph Wall, honestly. He's giving me so much faith right now. Man, like, I want Murray to prove to us that he, like, obviously he's won 2 rings, but we want to see that in action, and Dubas has been waiting to put him to play for this reason. This is why we got the guy. It'd be so unfortunate if we couldn't play him during playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's his whole shtick, right? It was like somebody went down, he came in and won it. So I think that would be cool if, like, God forbid, all of our goalies get hurt and he's healthy again and comes back in like the 3rd round and is like, guys, I got this. And takes the Islanders down.
That'd be nice.
Well, he can't take the Penguins down.
How sweet would that be?
Yeah, man. Oh, it's so unfortunate, but I was going through our old episode Insta posts because I was organizing them all into highlights, and it just reminded me of the trends we were talking about throughout the season, and, you know, gave me inspiration for the graphics. And it's true. It seems like every other week Murray was down, and then I was making a new graphic like, oh, welcome back. And then it was like the next game, oh, fuck, he's back down again. And it's like back and forth, yo-yoing. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do, obviously we're all pushing an hour. We haven't talked about the playoffs yet. We'll do a preseason one before, or like a pre-playoff one before the game at some point. If it's on Tuesday, we'll get something out. But other than that, we are going to have to do a whole unpacking of who's sticking around and who's not, because, and not even contracts that are running out. Like, there are so many weird situations that we've pushed to the side, like Murray and Jake Muzzin, and, you know, there's guys that opened the season on IR, like Carl Dahlstrom. Like, you know, there's a lot of weird question marks with this team that have to get solved in the off season, and it'll be interesting to see how Dubas, if he gets re-signed and doesn't go to Pittsburgh, solves that.
Honest to God, I don't think that there's any chance that Dubas doesn't get re-signed.
Oh, no, me neither. I think that's a ridiculous claim. I tweeted that that's cute that they think he's going anywhere. Obviously, every team likes to drum up rumors so that it makes it like harder for the Leafs. Like, everybody wants to piss the Leafs off by making them spend more money.
Yeah.
Right. So if they drive the price up for Dubas because he gets to say that he's got offers from other teams, then, you know, maybe one of them might get him. Like, it's a tactic to try to steal somebody, because obviously he can't have talked to the Penguins while he's under contract.
Nope.
I think
technically.
Yeah. And what will hurt,
like, Jack Campbell couldn't talk to the Oilers while he was under contract with the Leafs. That definitely didn't happen.
Right on the dot.
12:01. And look at that.
Look at
Edmonton
Oilers. It's just gonna hurt, right? If I'm not willing any negative, I don't know, emotions into the world, but let's just say it ends prematurely. This could possibly be, it's a possibility. William Nylander's, yeah, I know. and Matthews, right? Like Nylander and Matthews, like that is the biggest question mark in this summer going forward, besides Samsonov and a couple other forwards. But this core,
Well, they're not up this year.
They've still got one more year.
one more year.
They can just start negotiating next year.
Yeah.
That's why it's been talked about, because like all of the contract negotiations have to happen in your last year. So all of them go into the last year of their contract at the end of the season. So that's when you'll start hearing all of the stuff about Matthews and Nylander's negotiations.
I think if Dubas goes, Matthews probably goes. Because the trust that Matthews has in place with Dubas and with that administration, Shanahan, everybody, I think is massive, especially for a young player. If he's going to commit, even for another 5 years, to go from age 26 to 31, that's a huge commitment for someone that will be in his prime. If you're going to commit for those years, you need to know damn well that the management that's there is going to be doing something that you feel gives you the best chance.
Yeah, and if they don't feel like keeping Dubas around is that chance, then he's going to walk. I get it. And for that reason, I think they're both sticking around.
I bloody well hope so.
Though,
but
I'm glad. Yeah. But heading into the playoffs here, I'm glad Nylander got his 40th tonight and giving him that confidence boost, even though, the kid's doing great. He's breaking all his personal records, but we want everyone to get in gear, get in line. I mean, Achari scoring his first in 13 games. Love to see it. Nylander, man, if he can keep up that hungry dog play heading into next week, things should be good.
He's always the best one in the playoffs. Like the time they lost to Montreal, he was the only one who was on the whole time. And that quote from him where they're like, "Oh, how do you feel about this?" He's like, "I'll be good when we fucking win." Like he is all business, and I love it. And even Keefe in his pregame interview, he said like, once the guys locked up home ice, it was like they kicked into gear. Like they know what's up next. They know what they've been getting ready for. Like this is all they care about.
Yeah.
Let's do some questions.
Yay.
Questions.
Do you have the ones for mine, or should I pull them up?
I have mine, but I can pull them up. If you want.
Here, I'll get mine then.
Chris Rickett says, it would have been nice to see 5 more minutes for Marner, though. But yeah, he kicked it in. Off to the playoffs. Just a comment. Yes, I know. Biehn, you had the same comment in our group chat. I know points don't mean anything, but yeah.
I mean, for the milestones, it always sucks to have a 99 somewhere, right? Like round numbers are so much nicer. The stat, like forever, that's going to be sitting there at 99 points. That's really frustrating.
Yeah,
honestly. One more from me. We have it from Mikey D. What's your favorite video game movie? Also, Leafs in 5.
Okay, so this is on the tail of the Super Mario Bros. Movie coming out, which has like a 50% on Metacritic, but broke the record for highest grossing video game movie ever because it is directed at small children. So good for them. I don't really care to go see it. Jack Black's Instagram posts are good enough for me. They are gold. He's written songs as Bowser and stuff. Like, it's amazing how committed this guy is.
Nice.
He is.
That being said,
he is like perfect. He's like the ultimate chameleon. You could see him literally doing anything, and you'd be like, "Yeah, that's Jack Black."
Except that one rom-com. Is it a Christmas movie where they like switch houses or something? He's in it with like
what's her name from Titanic? Isn't he?
It's a really weird role for him. Yeah. What's that movie called?
What, Jack Black?
Yeah, it's like all of his movies. Oh, The Holiday.
Oh.
It's with it's Cameron Diaz, Jude Law, Kate Winslet, and Jack Black. Like him across Jude Law just doesn't really make much. I don't know. It's a weird role for him. I'll say that. My favorite of his is his guest appearance in The Office with that little clip with Cloris Leachman and whoever, where it's like he falls in love with the like 86-year-old mother, and she's like going up the like stair lift thing. It's like, no, come back. And she's like going up oh, it's fantastic. Nice. School of Rock is a classic, though.
He had a nice little cameo in Mandalorian this season too.
Oh, nice.
Biehn?
I would say my favorite video game movie is probably. I don't know if I've seen any. I didn't see Sonic. I didn't see the Super Mario Bros. Movie. What else is there? What video game movies are there?
This is how bad it is. I've actually got to look it up.
I'm currently scrolling on my phone trying to find an answer.
Oh, there's the Assassin's Creed movie. I didn't see that. The Tomb Raider movie. Didn't see that.
I thought you guys
Detective
would be
Pikachu.
all over
Nope.
this.
Mortal Kombat movie. Didn't see it. Resident Evil movie. Nope. Prince of Persia movie. Forgot about that one. Didn't see it.
Resident Evil, maybe?
I wouldn't consider it based directly after a game, but for the nostalgia, I really liked Pokemon Detective Pikachu.
I've never seen it.
I never saw it. Oh, they did the Uncharted movie. I didn't see that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
It was a Far Cry movie. Didn't see that. Warcraft, didn't see that. I'm just reading through these. I don't think I've seen Tron. I haven't seen that one. I didn't see Hitman. Need for Speed, I didn't see. Doom, I have actually never, ever in my life seen a video game movie. Huh. Interesting.
I saw Tomb Raider in 2003 with Angelina Jolie. Yeah, this is
Double Dragon, Street Fighter. No.
I've seen.
I'm just seeing if there's one that I didn't know was one.
Doom.
Max Payne. No.
They made a Doom with The Rock.
Oh.
I might have seen the Assassin's Creed movie, but I do not remember it at all.
100% Doom.
Yeah, I saw Pokemon, the first movie in 1998. I remember Mewtwo in there.
That's not a. I mean, do you count Pokemon as a video game movie? Because, like, kind of, I think the game did come first.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So, in that case, I've only seen the Pokemon movies. And yeah, the first 2 or 3 are all awesome.
It's got to be Doom so far.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it does count Pokemon as them. So Pokemon the first movie, Pokemon 2000, 3 and Forever. Yeah, that's like the ones that I watched as a kid. There's a shit ton of them now.
Mortal Kombat, I've probably seen maybe like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. Can't remember a thing. I'm in the same boat, guys. I've never seen any of these movies. I'm so sorry to disappoint Mikey. It was
a good view into how many movies I might have liked that I haven't seen.
Tomb Raider. I don't even I've probably seen a couple of the Tomb Raider movies, but I don't have any favorites by all means. I'm just stating the ones I've seen. So
I just saw the Dungeons and Dragons movie. That was fun.
Angry
I wouldn't
Birds.
say it's like great. I mean, it's fun. It's like medieval Guardians of the Galaxy with like a bit of Wonder Woman. Literally, Chris Pine is just dude who's there.
Oh,
that's his role in most things, but in this, he's like witty, smart guy who's just kind of there the whole time. And it's like, are you the main character? Or are you okay? Whatever, fuck it.
okay.
The story's a little convoluted, but it's fun.
Okay.
I have questions though.
Okay.
Sorry, I gotta close this video game thing. Will this be the year we can finally end the first round exit joke? This one comes from RG at RGGTX91. I don't want to say yes or no, but it looks more promising than it has in the past just because of the condition of the Leafs and the current state of the Tampa Bay Lightning, especially after the last game. I think things look good. I'm not going to jinx it. I don't want to get too excited. It's still got to be 7 games, potentially.
I don't think you even have to preface it with the state of the Tampa Bay Lightning. With the state of the Leafs, how they're playing right now, the confidence in their game, the steps we've seen everyone take, Matthews becoming more defensive, Marner completely finishing his all-around game, not just being offensive. I would Not that I wouldn't be nervous against like the Bruins, but I would put us up against anybody.
Yeah, I feel more confident that, just not even watching the season, but being with Inside the Rink and seeing all of our writers and other colleagues who cover different teams also have the opinion as Tampa or Boston Bruins fans that Leafs will overcome Tampa this year. I don't know. It adds fuel to the flame and it makes you more excited because these people cover these teams very, very closely. And obviously we have the Leafs bias. So when you hear all of these perspectives come into fruition, it's nice. And of course we believe. So yeah.
Next question comes from Chris Richey at Chris Richey. Question is goaltending the reason they get out of the first round or lose in the first round?
False.
Get out.
Maddie. We saw last year that we didn't have to have all-star goaltending because Jack Campbell was not elite in the playoffs last year. And like not even close. My cat could have made more saves than he did in the playoffs last year. If we just have NHL average goaltending, I think we win that series. So with the steps everybody's taken, like I was just saying, I don't think like it very well could. Sammy could come in and stand on his head. Wall could come in and stand on his head. But I honestly don't think goaltending is going to be as big of a factor as everybody's made it out to be all year. That the Leafs are done because they have no goalies and blah, blah, blah. Like, stop that BS.
So just to wrap this in before you chime in, Steph, at Dom Richard 1988, Shen Leaf mega fan asked, compared to last year, how confident should we be going into game one? So along the same lines, just to add it in.
Yeah, we should be super confident. Even though Murray is not 100% right now, Wall gives us that confidence. And man, just too many clowns in the clown car is working into our favor. Gio sat tonight, JT, Sam Lafferty, and it wasn't really missed in a sense. I mean, always missing JT on the dot and on the power play, all of his abilities, but man, if the Leafs can overcome teams like Tampa while, none of the superstars, Matthews Marner playing, Timmins playing right wing, like it's a good sign. The Rangers were full body tonight besides Shesterkin. Halak was playing elite level goaltending, right? So it's a good sign.
More confident than we were going into game one last year, but maybe not quite as confident as we were going into game two.
After a 5-0
and maybe not as
win.
confident. Maybe not as confident as going into the Montreal series. That one was like, oh, we got this. Let's go. Trip through Canada and straight to the playoffs, baby. No, that didn't happen at all.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, it's that the last couple games we've seen a very, kind of mashed together, rested team. I want to see what game one looks like when everybody's in the lineup. What that iced roster for game one is. That's going to be the most exciting thing to see, where O'Reilly is, whether he's on the second or third line, who's starting, who's backup, who's on D. It's going to be crazy.
I know it's not going to happen,
healthy,
but it would be absolutely amazing if game one rolls around and in the top 6 for defensemen, Jake Muzzin came out.
Oh my God.
It's not going to happen because
been...
like his injury is legitimate, but that would be absolutely incredible as a big FU to Gary Bettman.
By the way, he's been training the whole time. No, I do wish the best for him, but we know he's obviously not coming back, unfortunately.
But like what you were saying there, you want to see the game one roster. These last 3 games, yes, it's been a hodgepodge of a team trying to let people get some rest, get ready for the playoffs. Even with that, even without all of our game breakers, which can drastically change games, they were 3 playoff style good, gritty wins against 3 playoff opponents.
Oh, hell yeah, they were. Who do they still have actually injured? Gustafsson, kind of.
Murray,
Samsonov
Murray.
is
Muzzin,
banged
Robertson, McMahon.
I mean, really, Gustafson, Tavares, Lafferty, Gio, Samsonov, Murray. I think Murray's the only one that's actually hurt.
Yeah, I wouldn't think Samsonov's hurt. All season long, everybody, and I've been saying it in our group chat all the time. Oh, looks like Samsonov tweaked something there.
Well, there were 2 of those 3 games where he did look a little sore. So maybe, he gets till Tuesday off. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, the Leafs end their season 50, 21, and 11 for 111 points this year. 4 points shy of last year, but I think they did pretty well, honestly, tying the most away wins. And considering that Matthews didn't pop off like he did on his 60-goal season, he still scored 40. But I think this year's total is more of a complete effort, like more contribution from the bottom 6 as well.
Never lost 2 in regulation in a row. Never got shut out. Never lost more than 3 in a row. Lost 2 games in a row like 3 times in the whole season. Like, it's insane how good this team was this year.
This is
like it was not often that we were covering losses this year.
It honestly looks like this is Matthews' Yzerman year. Mm-hmm. The year where he flips a switch and goes from, okay, I'm not going to score 60 or 70 goals. I'm going to score 40 or 50, and you're not getting anything against us when I'm on the ice.
So
that's what we can hope for.
What do you call it for Jonathan Huberdeau, who set a record for the largest point drop-off in league history, playing at least 50 games? It was a 60-point difference with 115 last year and 55 this year.
Damn.
Do you want me to be completely honest?
Yes. Please.
Depression. You go from living in Florida for 10 years to living in Alberta.
He did have to sell his Lambo to go to Calgary.
No offense to anyone in Alberta, but if you were just living in Florida for 10 years, it would be a little bit of a culture shock.
Yeah.
A little.
Just a bit.
Although that being said,
that's my new favorite soundbite.
Alberta is like the Florida of Canada.
Yeah.
Like
the more I thought about it, I was like, I mean, there's a couple things that are similar, but
like any outrageous
the
news,
actual culture.
Yeah. Any outrageous news story you hear in the States, it's like, okay, that originated from Florida. Most outrageous or stupid things you hear in Canada. Am I wrong? A lot of them
Alberta.
Are originating in Alberta?
Or Quebec.
I'd say Alberta's more like Texas.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Florida, I don't know if we have a... I was gonna say Quebec might be our Florida.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, that would be my best guess.
In other news, the Team Canada women's, they were. I tuned into the game for the third period, end of the third period, and into OT because somehow Sweden tied it up with less than 10 seconds left, like the Rangers tried to do tonight. And oh my lord, I almost had a heart attack watching OT. Marie-Philippe Poulin, speaking of Quebec, sorry, not from Florida, was tried to get to the net and was hooked down. It was like she had 2 people on her and was driving to the net, one hand on her stick, almost managed to get it in, but was hooked and held down, and there was no call on anything, and everybody was yelling for it. And then Nurse with a bunch of shots, like everybody was just firing at the Swedish goalie and nothing was getting through. And then it was like, you know, same thing, like every time you go to OT, you get a bunch of shots and all of a sudden one gets turned over and it's like, oh shit, this could be the whole game right here, like JT did the other night. So luckily, I'm sorry, I don't know the names of everybody off the top of my head. Canada's goalie was great though. And Nurse managed to snipe one in OT and send Canada to the semifinals. So hell
nice.
Yeah. Bye-bye Sweden.
Nice. Well, I saw the OT there. What a shot, Sarah Nurse. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. It's an exciting game, man. Like we've talked about, you don't notice that there's no hitting and checking. Like it's fast, it's physical still. Like it's great hockey.
Sarah Nurse, if
Check it out.
you're listening, hello. I know you liked some of our stuff, and thank you. That was perfect.
I'm just gonna keep playing that thing.
I hope this
okay.
translates to the actual recording. It would be a shame if it didn't.
So
It's good. Don't worry.
So to tie it all up, unless you guys have anything, I have a couple of this day in hockey histories.
Take it away.
And it ties in with this last game before the playoffs.
Ooh.
1933, Stanley Cup Final. New York Rangers defeat the Leafs 1-0 in OT to win the Cup. The first 4-game series in Cup Final. And then in 1940, the Rangers defeat the Leafs 3-2 for a 4-2 series victory to win their last Stanley Cup for 54 years.
Wow.
Whoa.
So it's kind of an interesting little tie-in.
Yeah. No kidding. Rangers
The
at
season would have
that.
been over already?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Well, it was like 27 degrees here today and yesterday, so I got sunburnt in April.
Yeah, speak for yourself. It's 0 here.
Well, let the anxiety begin. Oh, the emotional roller coaster ride just around the corner.
The waiting game
Okay.
of what feels like forever.
Johnny,
is
are we
over.
doing it? We starting clean shaven?
Yeah, I brought my stuff out here. I can do it.
Oh,
Did we ever get any
That's
replies
cool.
back? Replies back about bets we can do? Remember we brought that up?
No, we need more
Oh.
Vegemite bets, guys.
Biehn, I would really like to watch you eat some Vegemite right now.
Well, I'd have to go find it. It's set somewhere.
All right. Thanks for sticking out with us for the regular season. Like I said, we'll be back sometime probably this weekend or Monday or something for a pregame show for the Tampa series because things are going to get interesting and spicy. Lots of Perry and Maroon and Belmar fights and Bunting's going to be fired up. It's going to be so much fun.
So are you saying they're going to be so disappointed in their play they're going to be fighting each other?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Ooh.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Leafs Late Night, your night of post-game podcast. Available after every game on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and more.
Bring Joe Bowen back to television.
Please.
Go Leafs, go. Holy Mackinac. Holy Mackinac. Holy Mackinac.